There was a point in his life when everything went quiet. Not peaceful quiet, the kind that feels empty. No calls, no messages, no one asking where he was. Just silence. And in that silence, he realized something he had been avoiding for a long time. No one was coming to fix his life. His name was Adrian, 27 years old. And if you looked at his life from the outside, you wouldn't see a tragedy. You'd see nothing. No direction. No progress. No reason to believe anything would change. Was the real problem. Because when nothing is obviously broken, you don't feel the urgency to fix it. Adrian wasn't always like this. There was a time he had plans. Things he said he would do. But over time, those plans didn't fail. Never started. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into years. And eventually, he stopped expecting anything from himself. Not because he couldn't do more, but because he had trained himself not to try. He lived in a small apartment. Not messy, not clean, forgotten. A place where time passed, but nothing changed. He would wake up late, scroll through his phone, tell himself he'd start tomorrow. And tomorrow never came. Until one night, something interrupted that pattern. It wasn't dramatic. No life-changing event. No sudden opportunity. Just a moment. He was sitting in the dark, screen glowing in his hands. When the power went out, everything went black. No noise. No distraction. And his thoughts. And for the first time in a long time, he couldn't escape them. He sat there, doing nothing. Not because he wanted to, but because he had no other option. And that's when the question hit him. Not loudly, not aggressively. Just a quiet thought that refused to leave. What happens if nothing changes? What does this become? A year from now? 5 years from now? And for the first time, he didn't like the answer. So he did something small. Something almost meaningless. But it would become the most important decision of his life. He reached for a notebook, and he wrote, 90 days. No big plan. No complicated system. Just one rule. For the next 90 days, I don't negotiate with myself. No motivation. No inspiration. Commitment. Day 1 was uncomfortable. He woke up earlier than usual, sat on the edge of his bed, and felt resistance hit him immediately. He almost quit. Nothing felt different. No results. No progress. Just effort. And effort without reward is one of the hardest things to continue. But he remembered the rule. No negotiation. So he kept going. Day 7. Something shifted. Not outside. Inside. He started noticing things. How often he distracted himself. How quickly he gave up. How easily he avoided discomfort. For the first time, he was paying attention. Day 10. He made a decision. He needed structure. So he left his apartment and went somewhere he couldn't hide. The place where people worked. Not because he felt ready, but because staying the same was no longer an option. That's where he met someone. Not a mentor. Not a coach. Just someone who showed up every day. Focused. Consistent. And something about that caught his attention. He didn't give advice. He didn't try to help. He just worked. And somehow, that was enough. Because it showed Adrian something he had forgotten. What discipline looks like in real life. Day 15. Adrian started doing the same. Sitting down. Working. Finishing what he started. Not perfectly, but consistently. Day 20. He was tired. Mentally. Physically. Emotionally. Because growth isn't exciting when no one is watching. But something inside him had changed. He no longer needed motivation. He had momentum. Results started showing up. Small ones, but real. Tasks completed. Ideas executed. Confidence slowly returning. And that's when something unexpected happened. Opportunity. A small project. Nothing big, but it required responsibility. Deadlines. Accountability. Everything he used to avoid. And this time, he said yes. Day 45. Pressure hit. Mistakes happened. Things didn't go as planned. And the old voice came back. You're not built for this. But now, it didn't sound as convincing. Because he had evidence that he could continue. Day 60, he was no longer the same person. Not successful, not perfect, but different. More focused, more aware, more in control. And people started noticing. Day 75, he realized something important. The work wasn't changing his life. It was changing him. Was the real turning point. Arrived quietly. No celebration. No big moment. Just another day. But when you look back, everything was different. Not because of luck. Not because of talent. But because he stayed. Stayed when it was hard. Stayed when it was boring. Stayed when it felt pointless. Is what most people never do. Because the truth is, it's not about 90 days. It's about who you become. When you stop quitting on yourself. And once you become that person, everything changes. So the question isn't, can 90 days change your life? The real question is, what happens if you finally commit? Start today. Not perfectly. Not confidently. Just start.